Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets. We talk a lot about self-driving cars, but what about self-flying ones?
Oh, interesting.
Today's deep dive is all about the BlackFly, a personal aircraft that's really turning heads. It's electric, single seat, takes off vertically like a helicopter.
Yeah.
And you don't even need a pilot's license to fly it.
Sounds pretty wild, right?
Yeah, like something straight out of science fiction. But the thing is, the BlackFly isn't some far-off concept. This thing is real, and people are flying them right now.
So it's not just a prototype.
Yep. It's designed and built by a company called Pivotal. And it's not like those air taxis we've been hearing about from, companies like Joby or Archer. This is more like your own personal flying sports car, something you own and fly yourself.
Okay, so just to be clear, it's electric, single seat, vertical takeoff and landing, and it's being sold as a personal vehicle.
Exactly.
Hold on, though. You said no pilot's license needed. How is that even possible? Well, because it's classified as an ultralight aircraft under U.S. regulations, you don't need the same licensing as you would for a traditional airplane.
That's amazing. But there's got to be a catch, right?
Well, you still need training. Pivotal requires 3 days of pretty intense simulation training.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. They cover everything from takeoff and landing procedures to emergency situations.
So it's not just hopping in and taking off. You need to know what you're doing.
Right, exactly. Safety first. And speaking of catches, there's also the price tag to consider. We're talking $190,000.
Oof. That puts it out of reach for most people.
Yeah, definitely a luxury item for now. It makes you wonder, will personal flight always be a privilege for the wealthy?
That's a good question.
Or could this be the start of something much bigger, What if this kind of technology becomes more affordable and accessible down the road?
Yeah, that's a fascinating thought. Okay, so for those of us who can only dream of owning a BlackFly right now, paint us a picture. What is it actually like to fly one of these things? What's the experience like?
Well, I actually had the chance to try it out myself.
No way.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. Just imagine yourself strapped into this sleek cockpit. You've got joysticks, a touch screen that displays all your flight data, and get this, a ballistic parachute, just in case.
A parachute. Suddenly those 3 days of simulation training sound a lot more important.
Right. But the cool thing is the controls are actually surprisingly intuitive. I was expecting it to be super complicated.
Yeah, flying an aircraft is not exactly known for being simple.
No, it's not. But Pivotal has really designed the BlackFly with accessibility in mind. They've simplified a lot of the complexities of flying to the point where it almost feels like you're playing a video game.
So even someone with no prior flying experience could potentially handle it.
Well, with the proper training, of course.
Yeah.
The BlackFly automates a lot of the complicated stuff, so you're not trying to juggle a million things at once.
So walk us through the experience. What's a typical flight like?
Well, it's a gradual process. They ease you into it. You start by hovering at about 40 feet just to get a feel for the engines and the controls.
Sounds nerve-wracking.
A little bit, yeah. But then you move on to practicing things like flight patterns, circuits, landings, and eventually you even start dealing with things like crosswinds.
Wow.
Yeah. By the end of the training, you're really pushing the aircraft's capabilities and getting a sense of what it can do.
That sounds like an incredible experience.
Oh, it really is.
Now, I've heard that the BlackFly is just the beginning for Pivotal. They're working on something even more advanced, right?
Yeah, that's right. They've got the Helix in development, which is a production model slated for release in 2025.
Oh, wow. So just around the corner.
Yeah. And it's a refined version of the BlackFly, basically, redesigned with an emphasis on better manufacturing and reliability.
So is the Helix going to be aimed at a wider audience than the BlackFly?
That's the interesting thing. They're actually targeting both first-time flyers and seasoned pilots with this one.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, think about it. You've got experienced pilots who are looking for a new level of freedom and flexibility.
I could see that.
Like, imagine being able to just take off from your backyard and explore, No need for airports or runways.
Okay, but how many people actually have backyards big enough for that? This all sounds amazing, but realistically, is this truly the future of transportation, or is it just a cool toy for the wealthy? Come on.
Yeah, it's a good question. And right now, I'd say it's definitely limited by cost and regulations. There are restrictions on where you can fly these things. So, mass adoption. probably not happening anytime soon.
Right.
But the technology is evolving so rapidly, who knows what the future holds? Remember, cars and computers were once considered luxury items too.
That's true. So it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that personal flight could become much more common in the future.
Exactly.
It really makes you think, what are the implications beyond just recreational flying, you know?
Right. I mean, is this just a fancy toy for thrill seekers, or could we see more practical applications down the line? Things like emergency response, providing access to remote areas, maybe even package delivery.
Yeah. The possibilities are kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. Definitely gives us a lot to ponder.
For sure.
Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive into the world of the BlackFly. Would you fly one of these things? Let us know what you think in the comments. It'd be great to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, it's a really interesting glimpse into a potential future.
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.
See you next time.
We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.